What's up, my people? It's Percy back at it with another very random rant, or not rant actually this time. I just found out, or I just realized rather, that yesterday marked the 30th anniversary of Easy E's death. So for y'all that don't know who Eric Easy-E Wright is, he is like one of the preeminent pioneers of gangsta rap or West Coast rap or whatever you want to call it. And yesterday, as of this recording, was March 26th, and he died 30 years ago, 1995. Damn, I'm old, because I was around when that happened, and I was like, whoa, but yeah, man. I don't see a lot of people talking about him. And I mean, he is one of the like pillars of not just gangster rap, but just West Coast rap. All in all, he's the one that kind of got Dr. Dre on his footing. I mean, Dr. Dre was already doing this thing before Easy, but I mean, I think there's not a lot of disagreement that, Eric Easy-E Wright through NWA was definitely the real launching pad for Dr. Dre, right? And yeah, man, I just wanted to say a little something about him. I am not the biggest or deepest in terms of knowledge of Eazy-E, but I can tell you what his impact was on me as a young hip hop kid back in those days. He supposedly died of HIV or AIDS related complications 30 years ago. And it was just crazy because when I was 12 years old, I remember hearing I think it was We Want Easy, the song from his album in 1988, I believe, called Easy Does It. And I just thought, whoa, like, this is different. Like, what is this? You know what I mean? And, I'm basically a kid that was raised in the East Coast, right? Specifically New York in the 80s. And so, at that time, my reference in hip hop was like the Juice Crew, BDP, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, Rakim, Public Enemy, etc. But when I first heard that that track, and then I listened to the album, I was it was different. They were talking a lot of tough stuff, a lot of gangster stuff. You know what I mean? Really, the only guy on the East Coast that was talking that tough guy talk, who at the time was Cool G Rap, at least what I was listening to. But it was different. Kind of gave you a little peek into LA gang culture to a certain degree. I mean, that Easy Does It album really should be called Eazy-E featuring MC Ren, because MC Ren was killing lyrically on that album. Like he was on over half of the album, and then of course you had the DOC. I said Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and a little bit of Yellow on there, right? But yeah, I remember listening to that album and was like, okay, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like I especially like the video and the song We Want Easy off that album. I thought that was just dope. Easy. For those who were there, those who know, they know. That song was pretty dope. And then, of course, that led me to check out releases like, Straight Outta Compton, from NWA, which everybody or a lot of hip hop fans knows is like a very pivotal watershed moment for gangster rap going, not just nationwide throughout the USA, but global, really. That album really kind of kicked it off. And a lot of people sleep on another Ruthless release, DOC. No one, I think No One Can Do It Better, I think is the name of that album. Really slept on album, boy. Like that, the Dre, the type of production he was doing back then, he really stuck his foot in it. It's like, he really gave the DOC some really dope production. So that all came out, on Eazy-E's Ruthless Records label. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people don't really give Eazy his props for, taking this thing to the forefront. There wasn't like too many people doing it like that anywhere, even on the West Coast. And he was the one that, that did that. I think a lot of times nowadays, and for the last, I would say at least 15 years, a lot of people think of Eazy-E just in terms of his legacy being covered with all these controversies, more than him being like the pioneer of West Coast gangster rap. They think about like issues he had with Ice Cube and then Dr. Dre, or even him visiting the White House to see the first George W. I think Bush, which at the time was very unpopular with the hip hop crowd, and he kept it G. He was like, "Yo, I'm here to lower some taxes." You know what I mean? I think is what he said. Don't quote me on that, but I think that was his reasoning when people asked, like, "Yo, why are you visiting George Bush?" So he was a dude that just he didn't care. You know what I mean? And I respected that aspect about him and just kind of what he brought to the game. People forget, like, they really easily forget that without this guy's ingenuity, as a street hustler and like his foresight to not only pioneer gangster rap, but to bring even like pivotal groups now, like legacy acts, but back then it was a risk. A group like Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know what I'm saying? Out of, I think, Cleveland, which was not a hotbed of hip hop, and they had a sound that was way different at the time. Nowadays, they would fit right in, but back then, I think Eazy-E took a risk, and now they're like a legendary group. You know what I mean? Totally detached from the whole West Coast gangsta aesthetic. Although they did their own thing. So, I mean, these are groups that really help form and build even acts today, like Kendrick Lamar falls from that tree. You know what I mean? Not just because he's also from Compton, but just even in the type of music he puts out, to a degree, and just a lot of influence everywhere. So, yeah, man, people got to put some respect on Eazy-E's name for real. You know what I mean? We got to give props. You know what I mean? That dude was the original Ruthless villain. You feel me? A real motherfucking G. Yeah, you hear me? So, yeah, man, just a quick, shout out and God bless the families and everybody that is attached to, a real pioneer in this hip hop space that doesn't these days get enough props and enough recognition for what he delivered to this culture of ours. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about Mr. Eazy-E. If y'all got any other comments or anything, y'all could leave them in the comments or not. You know what I mean? But I'll catch y'all later. Peace.